Well played, King of the Monsters. Well played. So I know people have been hearing my opinion on my channel lately about King of the Monsters, and what I thought, like, what I've seen from the trailers, and I thought the movie was going to blow. And when I did see it, it blew me away. Yes, you heard that right, everybody. I liked the movie, and I hope you guys too. And, like, you don't have to listen to the critics on Rotten Tomatoes because, like, it just feels just a little wrong. Even though I technically predicted the future that King of the Monsters would get a 40-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oops. So, anyway, this is not a spoiler review. This is just a little video telling you guys about what I like about the movie. I mean, not gonna tell you specific details. And one of the things that kind of bothered me as well. So, one of the things that I liked are the monsters. This is probably the best part of the movie, and it's really the part that really shines. Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah, they all get the screen time they deserve. And I feel that it's a perfect balance between the human scenes and the monster scenes. And it does something that not a lot of Godzilla movies actually do. They have, like, interesting characters, which kind of take up most of the movie, I'd be honest. But that's something to expect in a Godzilla movie. And awesome monster fights. And monster fights is what people come to see Godzilla movies for. And they don't really care about the human scenes, and I completely get that. I mean, they can be kind of bland sometimes, but when you accept them, like, it can work. I mean, especially because it's a good balance, because you got interesting characters and cool monster fights. So that's really something that really makes this movie overall a really good Godzilla movie. But, you know, I wouldn't call it the best Godzilla movie. Far from it, but it is good, I'd say. But there are some parts that also kind of bothered me. And again, no spoilers in this video because, you know, I'm not that kind of mean person that would spoil a movie for anybody. Well, there was that one time. That one time I regret. That one time I spoiled Endgame. But that was only for entertainment purposes only. I didn't mean to do it on purpose. I hate myself. So anyway, the stuff that really bothers me is also kind of the human scenes. I mean, when the people try to those characters are very interesting, but I don't really know what to say. There's just some parts that really kind of bother me at some points, like Millie Bobby Brown's character, and I feel that even though the movie, like in the trailers, it was supposed to be about her, it seemed more like about the father character, and, you know, it makes sense, because I feel that he is the most interesting character aside from Dr. Serizawa. I feel that Millie Bobby Brown's character, it's what I expected. It's just a letdown. I mean, it's your typical Godzilla movie standards. You gotta have a child character, either if it has something to do with the plot or not, you gotta have a child character. And I feel that that's what brings the movie down for me. But again, the monster fights are really good. And the soundtrack, I mean, you've already heard the soundtrack already, I'm pretty sure. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you probably heard the soundtrack on YouTube. And I'm actually surprised that Bear McCreary actually tried his hardest, and he really cared about Akira Ifukube's original soundtracks and actually added in the Godzilla theme, Mothra's theme, and even during the credits, you could hear the Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla song, and like, at least a remastered version of it, that is. But yeah, either way, it's amazing. Like, the soundtrack is probably one of the best parts of the movie, and it's something that really brings this movie its standards between Godzilla 2014, which is a movie I like, don't get me wrong, it's a good movie, but I feel that not only did they not show any monster scenes that much, but they didn't have any of the Godzilla soundtracks. Like, the classic Godzilla theme. Why wouldn't you have the classic Godzilla theme in a Godzilla movie? And I know most Godzilla movies don't really have the classic Godzilla theme. Even my favorite Godzilla movie of all time does not have the classic Godzilla theme, Godzilla vs. Hedorah. And I would say, even though it's my favorite Godzilla movie, it has the weakest and most ear-aching soundtrack of them all. But aside from that, it's my favorite Godzilla movie. But 2014, even though it's an American-made movie, it doesn't have a soundtrack. And I know you're gonna say, well, 1998 didn't either, and you gotta expect that because they didn't get Godzilla right in the first place. 2014 got the design, the roar correct. They got everything about Godzilla correct, except for the soundtrack. This one actually cares. This movie is the only American Godzilla movie that actually gets the character right. And speaking of character, let's talk about the monsters, and again, no spoilers. I feel that, like, unlike the anime trilogy, which is made by Toho, by the way, which I feel that Toho is actually ruining their own characters with the anime trilogy. But anyway, I love how they have Godzilla and all the other monsters a specific kind of personality, like they're supposed to have. Like, the original Godzilla, no, not the original Godzilla, he's a character, but he's more of a metaphor of nuclear destruction. No, all the other Showa movies in Heisei and Millennium, they all have their different character traits, and I feel that Ghidorah, Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan, like, with their personalities, their characters really shine. And I know people are gonna say, but they're just mindless monsters. That's not true. Anyone who's actually seen a Godzilla movie knows that each monster has their own personality. I mean, except for maybe a certain few, which I might list somewhere in the corners of my eye. I'm looking at you, giant condor. But anyway, I feel that this movie definitely gets it right on variation of levels, and the soundtrack, the monsters, the human scenes, sometimes. But you know, it's a good movie. I rank it an 8 out of 10, and I will rank it somewhere on my favorite Godzilla's list and my tier list. So, that was my review for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I might make a spoiler review, so any of you haven't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters, watch out. So anyway, this was my video, and until next time, peace out.